Hello and welcome to this channel, and if you are the first time here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button to see the latest technology videos. In this video we are discussing about data science, machine learning. So what is machine learning? So in simple terms, machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence AI which provides machines the ability to learn automatically and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed to do so. In this sense, it is the practice of getting machines to solve problems by gaining the ability to think. So how machine learning works? So it enables the computers or the machines to make data-driven decisions rather than being explicitly programmed for carrying out a certain task. And these programs or algorithms are designed in such a way that they learn and improve over time when exposed to new data. But wait, can a machine think or make decisions? Well, if you feed the machine a good amount of data, it will learn how to interpret, process and analyze this data by using machine learning algorithms. And a machine can learn to solve a problem by following any of the three approaches. Types of machine learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning. So supervised learning. So supervised learning is a technique in which we teach or train the machine using data that is well labeled. So to understand supervised learning, let us consider an analogy. So as kids, we all needed guidance to solve math problems, and our teachers helped us understand what addition is and how it is done. Similarly, you can think of supervised learning as a type of machine learning that involves a guide. And the labeled data set is the teacher that will train you to understand patterns in the data. And here the labeled data set is the training data set. Then types of supervised learning are regression and classification. And in regression we have linear regression and logistic regression. And in classification we have support vector machine, decision tree, etc. Then unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning involves training by using unlabeled data and allowing the model to act on that information without guidance. And the model learns through observation and finds structures in the data. And once the model is given a data set, it automatically detects patterns and relationships in the data set by creating clusters in it. So what it cannot do is add labels to the cluster, like it cannot say this is a group of apples or mangoes, but it will separate all the apples from mangoes. Suppose we presented the images of apples, bananas and mangoes to the model. So what it does, based on some patterns and relationships, it creates clusters and divides the data set into those clusters. Now, if a new data is fed to the model, it adds it to one of the created clusters. Then types of unsupervised learning are clustering, hierarchical clustering, k-means clustering and KNN clustering. And in association we have a priori algorithm and FP growth algorithm. Then reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is a part of machine learning where an agent is put in an environment and it learns to behave in this environment by performing certain actions and observing the rewards which it gets from those actions. And in other terms, it is the ability of an agent to interact with the environment and find out what is the best outcome. And it follows the concept of the hit and trial method. And the agent is rewarded or penalized with a point for a correct or a wrong answer. And on the basis of the positive reward points gained, the model trains itself. And again, once trained, it gets ready to predict the new data presented to it. And this type of machine learning is comparatively different. So types of reinforcement learning, positive and negative. Then languages to work with the data science. So a programming language is an arrangement of a set of instructions written in a way to generate various kinds of output. And these are used in computer programs that help in implementing various algorithms and have a wide range of applications. Talking about data science, we have several programming languages that provide a comprehensive set of libraries for performing various data science functions. And a data scientist must have command over at least one language in order to optimize the process. And some of the major languages used for data science are Python, JavaScript, R programming, SQL, Scala, and Julia. Among all these, R is considered to be the best programming language for any statistician, as it possesses an extensive catalog of statistical and graphical methods. Python, on the other hand, can do pretty much the same work as R, but it is preferred by data scientists or data analysts because of its simplicity and high performance. R is a powerful scripting language and highly flexible with a vibrant community and resource bank, whereas Python is a widely used object-oriented language that is easy to learn and debug. So, Python for data science. Python is no doubt the best suited language for a data scientist. So, the few points that will help you understand why people go with Python for data science. First, driven by vast and active community. So Python has one of the most known and active community which helps them in the continuous improvement of Python as a programming language, and it is distributed under an open source license which makes its development easy via open source contributions. Learning curve. So with most of the programming languages, their learning curves tend to grow parabolic with time, which means it is hard to grasp early. But as you become familiar with this language, the learning becomes easy. Whereas in the case of Python, the learning is easy because of easy syntax and short handwriting. Then third-party libraries. So standard Python package installer PIP can help you install numerous modules that make Python interactive. And these libraries and modules can interact with internet protocols, operating system calls, and many more. Then integration with the other languages. So integration libraries like Cython and Jython make Python integrate with C, C++, and Java for cross-platform development. And this makes Python even more powerful, since we all know every language has its own forte. And so using these libraries you can enjoy the powerful features of each language. Now R programming for data science. So R is basically an open source programming and statistical language, and it is a multi-purpose programming language popularly used in the field of data science. Data manipulation. So with R, you can easily shape the data set into a format that could be easily accessed and analyzed by slicing large multivariate data sets. R has built-in functions for data analysis. So in R, we can use the summary built-in function to analyze summary statistics. Whereas in Python, you need to import packages such as stats models to do this. 8,000 plus packages. So R has over 8,000 packages that can be used to implement various statistical analysis tools related to hypothesis testing, model fitting, clustering techniques, and machine learning. Then data visualization. So provides a comprehensive set of functionalities for data visualization that helps in understanding a data set and the relationship between various variables. Massive community support. So R is the most sought after technology because of its ingenuity and community support. Over 2.5 million users are using R, and companies such as TechCrunch, Google, Facebook, Mozilla, etc. make use of R. So data science tools. So the main feature of data science tools is that you don't have to use programming languages in order to implement data science functions. They come with predefined functions, algorithms, and a very friendly user GUI. Hence, they can be used to build convoluted machine learning models without the use of a programming language. So several startups and tech giants have been working on developing such user-friendly data science tools. However, since data science is a very vast process, it is often never enough to use one tool for the entire workflow. So let us take a look at data science tools used for the different stages in a data science process. First is data storage, then exploratory data analysis, data modeling, and data visualization. So data science tools for data storage. First is Apache Hadoop. So Apache Hadoop is a free open source framework that can manage and store tons and tons of data, and it provides distributed computing of massive data sets over a cluster of thousands of computers, and it is used for high level computations and data processing. Azure HD Insight. So Azure HD Insight is a cloud platform provided by Microsoft for the purpose of data storage, processing, and analytics. And enterprises such as Adobe Jet and Milliman use Azure HD Insights to process and manage massive amounts of data. Then data science tools for exploratory data analysis. Informatica Power Center. So the buzz around Informatica is explained by the fact that their revenue has rounded off to around 1.05 billion. And Informatica has many products focused on data integration. However, Informatica Power Center stands out due to its data integration capabilities. Then RapidMiner. There is no surprise that RapidMiner is one of the most popular tools for implementing data science. RapidMiner is ranked at number 1 in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for Data Science Platforms 2017 and in the Forrester Wave for Predictive Analytics and Machine Learning. Then data science tools for data modeling. H2O.ai. So H2O.ai is the company behind open source machine learning products like H2O, aimed to make machine learning easier for all. With around 130k data scientists and approximately 14k organizations, the H2O.ai community is growing at a strong pace. And H2O.ai is an open source data science tool that is aimed at making data modeling easier. Then Data Robot. So Data Robot is an AI-driven automation platform that aids in developing accurate predictive models, and Data Robot makes it easy to implement a wide range of machine learning algorithms, including clustering, classification, and regression models. Then data science tools for data visualization. Tableau. So Tableau is the most popular data visualization tool used in the market, and it allows you to break down raw unformatted data into a processable and understandable format. And visualizations created by Tableau can easily help you understand the dependencies between the predictor variables. Then ClickView. So ClickView is another data visualization tool that is used by more than 24,000 organizations worldwide, and it is one of the most effective visualization platforms for visually analyzing data to derive useful business insights. Then data science frameworks. So the best frameworks present in the data science world and helping solving various data science day-to-day problems. The best frameworks are TensorFlow, PyTorch, Scikit-learn, Spark and MLlib. So TensorFlow. TensorFlow is a library based on Python that provides different types of functionality for implementing deep learning models. And the term TensorFlow is made up of two terms, tensor and flow. And in TensorFlow, the term tensor refers to the representation of data as a multi-dimensional array, whereas the term flow refers to the series of operations that one performs on tensors. And basically the overall process of writing a TensorFlow program involves two steps: building a computational graph and running a computational graph. Then Scikit-learn. So Scikit-learn is a library used to perform machine learning in Python, and Scikit-learn is an open source library that is licensed under BSD and is reusable in various contexts, encouraging academic and commercial use. And it provides a range of supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms in Python, and it consists of popular algorithms and libraries. Apart from that, it also contains the packages like first NumPy. So NumPy is a Python package that stands for Numerical Python, and it is the core library for scientific computing, which contains a powerful n-dimensional array object. Then matplotlib.pyplot. Matplotlib.pyplot is a plotting library used for 2D graphics in Python programming language, and it can be used in Python scripts, shell and web application servers. Then SciPy. SciPy is an open source Python library used to solve scientific and mathematical problems, and it is built on the NumPy extension and helps in data manipulation and visualization. Then PyTorch. So PyTorch is a Python based scientific computing package targeted at two sets of audiences: a replacement for NumPy to make use of the power of GPUs, and a deep learning research platform that provides maximum flexibility and speed. So features are native support for Python and use of its libraries. Used in Facebook. So actively used in the development of Facebook for all of its deep learning requirements in the platform. Easy to use API. So PyTorch ensures an easy to use API which helps with the easier usability and better understanding when making use of the API. Fast processing. PyTorch is fast and feels native, and hence ensuring easy coding and fast processing. Support for CUDA. So the support for CUDA ensures that the code can run on the GPU, thereby decreasing the time needed to run the code and increasing the overall performance of the system. Then dynamic computation graphs. So dynamic computation graphs are a major highlight here, as they ensure the graph build up dynamically at every point of code execution, and the graph is built along and can be manipulated at a runtime. Now Spark MLlib. So Spark MLlib is Apache Spark's machine learning component. So one of the major attractions of Spark is the ability to scale computation massively, and that is exactly what you need for machine learning algorithms. But the limitation is that all machine learning algorithms cannot be effectively parallelized. and each algorithm has its own challenges for parallelization, whether it is task parallelism or data parallelism. Spark.mllib contains the original API built on top of RDDs, and it also provides higher level API built on top of data frames for constructing ML pipelines. And Spark.ml is the primary machine learning API for Spark at the moment. Spark MLlib tools. ML algorithms form the core of MLlib. Then pipelines provide tools for constructing, evaluating and tuning ML machine learning pipelines. Utilities for linear algebra, statistics and data handling. Featureization. It includes feature extraction, transformation, dimensionality, reduction and selection. Then persistence. Persistence helps in saving and loading algorithms, models and pipelines. So machine MLlib algorithms are basic statistics, regression, classification, clustering, recommendation system, dimensionality reduction, feature extraction and optimization. So this was a brief discussion on data science, and if you are the first time here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button in order to stay updated about the most trending technologies. We will be discussing more on data science and machine learning in the upcoming videos. And thank you for watching this video. Bye for now.